Well, Jacob Zuma supporters have been arriving in numbers from different parts of the country, pledging loyalty and support to the former president ahead of his D-Day tomorrow. Now, this comes after a constitutional court ruling earlier this week that he be imprisoned for 15 months for being in contempt of court. Well, a number of ANC veterans and high-profile members are present at Nkandla in support of Zuma. eNCA senior reporters are on the ground. They're bringing us the latest developments in this story. Well, Aviwe Mtila is following a group of Amabutho to Nkandla. Let's chat to him now. He's on the road with them. Aviwe, a very good afternoon to you. And what are Amabutho saying? They're there, they are supporting the former president, they will not back down. What have they been telling you?
Those exact sentiments, Uveka, as they make their way now to Nkandla. We're about 500 meters away from the president's home, where the Amabutho are headed now. I even tried to get a word just with them now, and they're telling me, so kuluma phambili. Simply put, that means that we are angry, my brother. We'll speak further down the line once they get there. But the message is simple. It's that they'll support whatever decision the former president takes. Whether the president hands himself over to the authorities as stipulated by the highest court in the land, the constitutional court, they'll support that decision. But even if the opposite happens, where the president defies the constitutional court and does not hand himself over, they say they'll be there defending that decision from the president. But now they have gathered in numbers, making their way to the Nkandla homestead. Well, they don't want to speak to us. I'll try grabbing some comment just on the sidelines and the cars that are moving here. Mkulu, we see you making your way to the president's home. What's in this relation to? They're very reluctant to comment at this stage. Uveka directing us to another gentleman here, but the two lines that are formed here, which we understand is Amabutho. But when I questioned them earlier on, speaking to Mike Zuma, asking if this in fact is an order from the king, since we understand the Amabutho adhere to orders from the king. So we asked if this is one of those orders, and they made it clear that it's not an order from the king per se, but it's a decision that they took as part of the community to defend the former statement. As we approach now Nkandla, heading there, where I understand my colleague Sipamanza Goge is at the moment.
And how far are they willing to go to defend the former president, Aviwe?
Well, they made it quite clear, Uveka, that they'll defend whatever decision former President Jacob Zuma takes. If the former president hands himself over to the authorities, they'll be in support of that. But if the former president does not hand himself over to the authorities and in fact refuses, they say that they're willing to lay their lives in support of that decision that the former president takes. Because they believe that the former president has been mistreated by the judiciary in support of the very utterances that former President Jacob Zuma has said time and again. Trying to get to these voices as they move forward now, joined by even the young ladies from the Zulu Nation here, as they all move towards the Nkandla homestead. The Nkandla homestead not quite far from where we are now, about some 300 meters, as you can see, it's just up on the hill over there, as they're making their way closer. And you can see just ahead of them even, there are different groupings that I assume will meet with them on their way to Nkandla as they get there. But these group of Amabutho have made it clear that they'll support whatever decision that former President Jacob Zuma takes in this.
All right, Aviwe, I can hear you are trying to keep up, but if you can just indulge me one more question. I'm sure lots of people wondering, how are they allowed to have such a gathering like this? I'm seeing very few masks. Hardly anyone seems to be wearing a mask in this crowd making its way to Nkandla. Where are the cops? What are they saying? Because our understanding is this is not allowed to happen at the moment.
Surprisingly, I haven't seen any official authorities on the roads and around Nkandla here. In fact, there's a police station not quite far from here, some 800 meters from where we are, and the police have been converged there. But inside that police station, you can see the heavy police presence, but none on the road, surprisingly. We heard yesterday there were roadblocks in and around here, but today we're seeing none of that. In fact, besides the traffic that you see caused here from the convergence of Amabutho as they move there, there hasn't really been any monitoring of the situation. I just want to get a quick comment from the cars coming in here, just to get an understanding of where they're going and what's happening.
Yebo ngibingelele lana kugcina kakhulu amabutho ngiyadina kakhulu yabona phethe induku enza yonke nje into yaviliyela so nje sibhlungu nje ngobaba umsholoze ngokuthi aboshwe nje sibhlungu nje kakhulu akekho konke nje lo iphoyisa likhona kulana kunye ngamanje.
Okay. Gentlemen saying that they just saw about the situation that's currently happening to the former president as we try to catch up once more. But reiterating the sentiments that the Amabutho are heading to the former president, Jacob Zuma. They themselves, in speaking to Mike Zuma earlier on, saying that they haven't had direct conversations with the former statesman, but they will be in support of whatever decision former President Jacob Zuma takes.